some of the owners that have had it, the American Pit Bull Terrier has a bad rap because of some of the owners that have had it. And the American Bully was created purely out of what one person really wanted to see. He wanted a bigger dog, girthier dog that had its total functions and abilities to move and get around, but have just a different look.
Okay. One of the things I think that to the detriment of pit bulls was the fact that they appealed to a lot of people who had very limited resources in terms of space for their animals. A lot of people were poorly educated, and because they were so available, they were one of the less expensive dogs that you could find. So by way of simple, more availability to poor people with smaller homes, less space, smaller yards, sometimes not fenced-in yards, but yet because of the appearance of the dog, everyone wants to make them guard dogs. Mm-hmm. But one of the misconceptions is that people make their dogs aggressive and believe that that's going to make them a guard dog, when that aggression is unbridled and uncontrollable. And so that's one of the reasons that the pit bull had developed a bad reputation, when this is one of the most affectionate, loving dogs in the world.
Yes, this dog was originally brought over to America and was called the nanny dog. This is one of the first
serious?
dogs that was actually called the nanny dog.
I think I did read that before.
People will actually have these pit bulls, and what they would do is when they left the house, they would actually feel comfortable enough. And I've never left my son at home
right.
with my pit bull, but my son, has been raised up in a house with all of our American bullies, which is now recognized by not only ABKC, RKC, but just as well as UKC,
right, yeah, I saw
as of 2013, as its own breed. So
right.
the American Bully is not a pit bull.
Right.
It is a pit bull variation.
Right, and that is very important for people to understand, is that certain things and certain misconceptions that there were with the classic pit bull, those misconceptions in terms of temperament, and notice I say misconceptions, in terms of temperament and aggressiveness, have actually been addressed with the bullies. The bullies, their temperaments are even better than the classic pit bulls. I have bully, I actually have two at home, and every night when my kids go to sleep, there's a bully by their feet somewhere. Mm-hmm. And it's almost impossible to stop. So I do remember actually reading something on the nanny dog. I do remember seeing that, but I'm glad you're here to actually say that, because I don't think I remembered it. It's been a while since then. Also, one of the things I think that we would like to discuss is the physical differences between an American bully and the classic pit bull terrier. I know that if you go out and try to get an American bully, typically they range from $1,000 to $5,000. You can find a pit bull for $65 around the corner half the time without a bloodline or any type of real pedigree. But how could you tell that you got a good dog? What would you look for?
You really have to do your research. What I like to say is, and I'll tell people, just as I was advised by my mentors, Brad Smith, and Mr. Calvin DeBose, and quite a few other people outside of the state of Indiana, that you need to go out and look and see what you have available to you. Okay. The American Bully, the very first thing that you will notice that's different from the American Bully to the traditional pit bull is its physical size.
Okay.
Its physical size. We call it girth. It's just a bigger dog.
Right.
A lot of people over the years, we haven't got to the bottom of it. DNA has been worked out. Some people say there's bulldog in them.
Right.
There's American staff in them. There's English bulldog in them, and there's so many different variations. But what we've come to, and what UKC and ABKC has come to at this point, is this dog is now officially its own breed.
Right.
And from here on out, it will be considered its breed. So if you mix any other dog into it at this point, then it would be called a band dog or a mixed dog.
Right.
At that point.
And that's very important, because a lot of people don't realize this, but the girth of these dogs is relevant, because during the process of the misconceptions with the classic pit bull, a lot of gaming dogs, and that's the dogs that are bred for fighting, because like I said, it was something that, a lot of people, did get into. It was a horrible thing, but, it was embraced by a lot of people. The gaming dogs are really, really small. They're a lot thinner. And they're made for fighting endurance, and typically you can almost see their ribs and a whole lot of muscle striation. With bullies have a lot more thickness to them. They look more like healthy bodybuilders, okay, or even power lifters sometimes. So that's one of the ways that you can actually tell. They have a phrase, they call it bone and dome. The head size and their bone structure is typically going to be something you can't fake. And when you're breeding for specific characteristics, you can bring those out. And yes, they may look a little different like another type of dog, but it's just like a person. You know, if you breed for light-skinned people, eventually your person will look like he could pass for Puerto Rican or something else. It's just the way it is. So thank you very much, Drew. One more thing I want to know is competitions. Okay, how hard is it to get a dog and put him into a competition? I know you got some experience here. We got ribbons here on the desk. Get some of these, please. Got quite a few of them here from various kennels.
Yeah, all of these, we actually have, we have one of our dogs who just turned a year old here and another one that's 6 months. To have a competition dog, again, you have to do your research. It's all about research, and you have to figure out what your dog type is, what your dog standard is, and then you have to actually learn how to actually move your dog. Just like you brought up bodybuilders, when they go out and they do their posing and different things like that, there's certain ways that you can pose or stand or flex, and you'll get certain muscles and certain things. So the standard is just what it is. So you have to get your dog to be basically the standard, meet the standard first. Your dog has to have good bite, good tail, good angulation. It has to have a good top line, which is basically from the back to the rear.
Okay, we have some dogs here in the studio that we're going to bring out, so you'll be able to show us more exactly.
Yeah, I'll be able to show you more exactly, and I'll stack a couple. We actually have another one of our guys who has a champion dog here in just a little bit. He got his first major, took best of show in his class. This is one of the bully heads and some of his ribbons up here. But you have to know how to accentuate the dog, how to make the dog look good. So
it's just like being a bodybuilder. You want to show off if you're good, your biceps are huge, you want to make the bicep poses to where they actually maximize your bicep look and appearance. So that's one thing I have no experience in at all whatsoever, but I'm definitely interested in it because I can watch the pedigree show on television and I see the dogs running. I want to get involved with it. Like I said, I'm very interested to see how you show your dog how to stack. Stacking, for you people that don't know, is the pose that the dogs use when they're being inspected. Okay, they call it stacking. Okay, I don't know how to make a dog stack. I can make a dog fetch, jump, speak, run, go to the kitchen, do whatever, but I've never been able to get a dog to stack before. So Drew's going to give us some help with that. One more thing that I like to ask, and I actually want to get into this with, I believe Brad's going to come in. If Brad comes in, I'd like to talk to him about this also. A lot of people consider breeding. What exactly goes into breeding, and how much time and resources does it take out of your your schedule?
I have to give a disclaimer. Very first thing is breeding is not for everybody. This is one of our biggest issues we have with this breed, because this breed was one of the most popular breeds over the longest period of time. We have an overpopulation of the breed, from every variation of the American Pit Bull Terrier. So if you don't know what you're doing, if you haven't done your research, if you have not got your licenses, your certifications, your permits, please do not breed. One, it tears up the standard of the breed because you're doing something you have no real understanding of what you're doing.
Right.
But to get into breeding, basically you have to understand first of all, you have to understand genetics and how different genetics will go together and come together and make a new dog, a new creation. Whether you want color, you want head size, you want rear end, you want to make sure your top line, you got a good bite. So all those things is more than what you just physically see in the dog.
Right.
So it goes into the genetics. It also goes into some of the things we didn't pay attention to in high school.
Okay, so like when selecting your two dogs to breed, it's a little bit more than just having whatever dogs in the backyard and just saying, hey, as soon as they get stuck together, we're going to have a litter. It's a lot more to it than that. And another reason why I would definitely like to dissuade people from breeding if they don't have any experience in it or they don't have anyone like mentoring them into the business is the bloodlines and diseases actually are hereditary, just like in human beings. And a lot of times, even temperamental issues or psychological issues are hereditary. So if you have a dog that has that's an attacker or that's strictly only for use in the backyard in the kennel, you can't have the kids around it, certain dogs you don't want to breed. Those dogs are not the type of dogs that you can give to anyone, in a home and say, hey, he's going to grow up and be, a good house dog. So the same way they were hereditary, they inherited their nanny traits, there's also a way they can inherit something negative if you don't know your bloodline and your bloodline history. One thing I'd like to ask you about, I know you have a lot to say on this, is puppy mills and the dog stores. if you were looking for a dog, would you or would you not entertain the idea of getting a dog from a puppy mill or from a pet store?
Well, puppy mills are right now being outlawed across the country.
Okay.
Just because the nature, most puppy mills and just have bad situations going on. They don't have good housing. The water is not good because there's so many dogs. Normally, not enough help. Disease runs rampant. There's a lot of different things that go on. So puppy milling is something that I do not agree with. Okay. Just as well, I do not agree with breeders or someone that just has a dog being a breeder. Okay. Because again, it does not help the standard. It does not help the breed. It only tears it down.
Right. And also, everybody, you need to know this. When you go to a breeder, an individual private breeder, first of all, he has to be licensed. If you have one litter in 1 year, you have to be licensed. To sell those puppies, you have to be licensed. So if you're not licensed, then you're breaking the law. Okay. However, when you do go to an individual breeder, there's typically a whole family of people taking care of those puppies. Those puppies are getting their shots on time. They're getting their dewormer on schedule. Any type of concerns are being addressed instantly because they're looked at every day because they're typically being raised by a family. And if you're going to have a dog that's going to come into a family structure, then it's better to get it from a family structure. Okay, Drew, is there anything else you want to make sure we said before you left?
Basically,
I'm sorry. Whoa. I'm going to just cut on that. Before we bring the dogs out, because we are definitely going to bring the dogs out, and I want to show you guys some stacking, and I'll get to play with them a little bit too at the same time. So, you got anything else that you want to say at the table before you change up and get ready for the dogs?
Basically, my disclaimer is please be smart dog owners, pet owners, whatever you own, be smart about it. And specifically to our breed, the bully breed, which is something that Fort Wayne alone has really been taken by storm over in the last couple of years. I mentioned names like Big House Kennels and Illinois Kennels and different kennels like that. Ohio, Love of Pits. Those type of kennels have influenced our city and our state. So please, if you have a dog, if you have a bully, please be responsible. Please get your dog neutered and spaded. If you are not going to take on responsibility of being a licensed, registered breeder and dog owner, our state law says that you can have up to 5 dogs as long as they're spayed and neutered, but you have to have them registered with the city. So that would be my disclaimer.
Okay. Basically, follow the law, and if you don't know what you're doing and you don't have a mentor, a kennel, or someone with experience, stay out of the business. There's a good chance that you could be doing a lot of damage to the actual dog, the breed, and the breed standard as well. So thank you very much. Let's go ahead and switch up and get ready for the dogs to come out. Okay, now I'm here with Marcus I looked at the television. I'm sorry, it put a fasten on me. I'm sorry. Let me look at him when I say his name. Okay, I'm sorry, here we go. Okay, I'm here with Marcus Jones and Andrew Woodson once again, and they've got some beautiful bullies, and they're going to explain to us what they look for and why these dogs qualify as bullies. Hit that right, boy. Yeah.
First off, these are TBK Productions. This here is Black Marble. This here, again, is I got Marcus Jones with Fat Boy here. These guys are. This is a male and a female. She is 6 months old. This guy just turned a year old over here. Fat Boy did, and we're just going to show you just a little bit what differentiates. At 6 months old, this female is already typically as big as a traditional APBT gets, about 45 to 65 pounds, and this is about it. This is about traditionally about all the females get right here. This height, this weight, she wants to snack. And this guy over here, he will be considered a classic bully, which is a couple different categories. There's classic, there's extreme, there's XL, and then there's pocket, which is all are separated by height differences. This guy right here.
How old is he?
He's a year old. Turned a year old on March 7th.
Okay. Now, has he been in a competition yet?
Yeah, the first competition he won, he got first place.
Okay.
Won the 2-year-old and best classic.
Okay, so this is actually a winner right here. Okay, he's already a champion, right?
No, he has 4 majors.
he won the competition. Yeah. Okay. So by that means he's a winner. Okay. So for champion status, the dog has to win what? So okay, in order for a dog to be considered a champion, it has to win 3 competitions. Yeah. Okay. Now I had no clue of that, and I didn't even know the classification. So I want to make sure you guys understood and heard what Drew said here. The 4 different classifications of bullies.
So start that over again.
Okay. One thing I want to make sure that everybody heard and is very clear on is that there's 4 different classifications of bullies. Drew said there's a pocket bully, there's XXL, and there's a classic bully. Is that
yes, sir.
3?
Yes,
okay,
sir.
There's 3 different classifications. I'm sorry, and I didn't even know that. And I have 2 bullies at home. And this right here, he's actually won a competition already. So as far as I'm concerned, he's a winner. But in order to become considered a champion, he has to win 3 competitions. And then he'll get the distinction on his paperwork that says champion. Is that correct? Now, does all those competitions have to be with the same kennel club?
ABKC, yes.
Okay.
But they're all in different categories and stuff, so it's all, if I go to an RKC, it doesn't get points in the ABKC. So
Okay.
you all have to be in the same category to get your points.
Okay, so he has to be in 2 more of the same kennel club
ABKC.
competition. Okay, I got you. So you can be a winner in various different in various different kennel clubs, but in order to be considered champion, you have to have in 3 in the same kennel club.
Yep.
Okay, so there you go. Now tell me what the dog's bite is. What would you call? How would you check the dog's bite?
Well, when
Did
the
you let him
judge
bite you on the arm, or
when the judge comes up, no. When the judge comes up, what they're trying to check for is to make sure the dog has a scissor bite. That means the top teeth actually make a scissor motion, and they don't clack, and they're not hitting each other. That's
Okay.
because if they're doing that, they'll be breaking. The teeth will be breaking out and falling out.
make sure to have an overbite or underbite also.
Overbite or underbite, and a judge would come up to a dog that's stacked correctly, and he would say, "Let me see your bite," and then you just open your dog's mouth. You see the scissor bite.
Okay, that the teeth touch the correct way. Okay.
And then that would be it. That would be how a judge checks your bite.
Okay. Now, what all do they typically check for when they come to your dog? Like, what's the process like? Like if I'm showing a dog, like what exactly would the judge do? Could you show me?
If you were holding the dog, he would come up and he would come to the side. He would check the bite. He would check to make sure that the bone structure and muscle structure was all there in the right places.
Okay, so you fill them up a little bit.
Fill him up. He makes sure the tail was the right length, because if your dog's tail is too short, we understand that you've bred something else into him.
Okay, could
or you've done something else.
It's a flaw considered, basically.
It's considered a flaw. Yes,
okay,
sir.
and they are so detailed, these competitions. The way a dog's toes are pointed, if it has a lump in his tail, any little thing like that can be considered a hit. So when you have a dog with the right characteristics, breeding that dog is simply going to give you some quality champions if you know what you're looking for. So is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you guys want to include that we make sure everybody knows about bullies right now?
Just to let you know that please protect the breed. We are coming out. This is now officially 2013, a different breed. It is not a pit bull. This is his own breed. They have acknowledged them as their own breed, and we're trying to educate and protect the breed. So please be responsible.
This is what dog papers look like.
Don't get too close. I want to take my numbers.
Right.
I want to take my numbers.
Okay, and I just want to include this clip right now because when you have a real dog that has a real pedigree, I don't mean a real dog, I don't mean to say other dogs are not real dogs, but this is what the paperwork looks like, okay? This is what, you can break it down and look at each of the dogs, the grandparents, each one of these dogs, who bred the dog, what kennel they come from, and you can even go to Bullypedia, typically, and see a picture of the grandparents or great-grandparents of the dog. So, thank you.
Please come on out June 14th. We are hosting our first ABKC dog show here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. This is going to be a family event. We're going to have things and prizes for everyone. We're going to have a lot of education, shots. We're going to give out rabies shots. We're going to give out vaccinations. We're going to give out chipping. We're going to have a lot of people out there, a lot of people trying to educate you about the breed as well as about showing. June 14th, don't miss it.
All right, and it's going to be at 2000 North Wells Street in Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's 2000 North Wells Street in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Don't miss it. It's got a lot of stuff coming out. You're going to save a lot of money if you bring your dog out there. Those vaccinations cost a lot of money if you're going to the veterinarian. So make sure you come on out. See you June 14th. Okay, now I'm here with Brad Smith. And Brad Smith is the bully guy, okay? He's actually the guy who got Andrew Woodson involved. I think he's your nephew, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he's actually the bully guy, the source here in Fort Wayne. And I want you to look at his dog. And here's his son, Brad Jr., another father and son working together, doing the same things. I love that. Look at his dog, and he's going to explain to you what makes his dog bully. Go ahead, Brad.
Well, we call it a new era, bully breed, and what makes our dog, we call them special. What makes our dog the bully breed is because of the head structure. And of course, you can already see the definition in the body structure, how wide they are, and then how kind of short they are, compact. And main thing is the temperament of these bully breed dogs. The temperament is so well adjusted. I have grandkids, and the grandkids, they play with my dogs. They interact with our dogs. So these dogs are really less aggressive, and we just love, they're just an all-around perfect dog.
I couldn't agree more. Like I said, I have 2 at home. I love them. That's why we're doing this special, because I want the misconceptions to be explained, that these dogs' temperaments, I mean, when I say I let my kids outside and put the dogs out there with them, it's for a reason. They can play with the dogs, and other people can't come and approach my kids comfortably. You know, they're very attached and very loyal. And if you look at this dog, you can spot this dog from a distance, and you can tell that its features are definitely better than the classic American Pit Bull Terrier in terms of its girth and its size. You can have a dog that weighs about less than 60 pounds and have an outstanding guard dog, as opposed to a 175-pound dog that takes up too much space in the house. So if you do have limited space, whether it's a smaller fenced-in backyard or something like that, then a bully is definitely a consideration, because great interaction with the kids, but also a beautiful look. If you want to go drive in your car and be the tough guy, I'm telling you, I love having my dog with me. I mean, the look is just awesome. The feel is great, and you can see why they're sought after right now. Thank you very much. This is Brad Smith and Brad Smith Jr., and we'll be going and doing some more stuff later on. Thank you for tuning in. This is the part of the show where I get this kind of freestyle and talk to you about some things that are going on in my life and some of the things that are probably going on in your life as well. I do a lot of motivational speaking. I know a lot of people listen to the motivational speaking and they probably say, well, you know, he's not talking to me, or, you know, that's not for me. But there's actually 2 categories of people who the motivational speaking and I guess self-help books and things like that don't really apply to. The people who are already on task. The people who are already on task and you've accomplished your goals and you've built those habits of putting forth 100% toward your goals, and you've already shown the results and accomplished the results, you have those habits already down pat, as they say, then you probably don't need to hear a motivational speech. But if you're there, then more than likely you already know the benefit of self-help books and motivational speeches in terms of your personal improvement. So you probably go that way anyway, even if you don't need it. There's another category of people who have already given up on their dreams. A lot of people have already said to themselves, and even though they haven't quoted it, they haven't spoken it out loud, they've already given up on their dreams. They're in a position right now where they're stagnant, where they're pretty much comfortable with not accomplishing what they set out to accomplish. Which is okay. If that's where you are, that's totally fine. I don't want to shake up anything in your life. I don't want to make you get more motivation than what you want. If you don't want to be motivated, then I can't motivate you. But there are a lot of people out there who are actually looking right now at where they want to be. They're either in high school, they're in college, they're at a job, they're starting a job, they're at some transitional point, they're in a new relationship even, but they know that they want to be somewhere and they're not there yet. And if you're one of those people, whether you're in college, like I said, whether you're working on your career, whether you want to write a book, do a movie, whatever your personal goals are, I want you to understand that the amount of effort that you put forth towards your goals is going to accomplish whether or not you can, is going to decide whether or not you can accomplish those specific goals. Now, no matter what you do, you're going to have tons of opposition. There's somebody who's going to be right next to you, somebody who you know you should count on their support, who won't support you. You cannot count on anybody else. But what you have to do is you have to know how important your goals are to you. And the more you visualize your goals, the more you visualize yourself in those positions, the more steps you should be taking. So right now, I want to motivate you to take some more steps toward accomplishing those goals. If you're a production assistant and you're sitting around, you're looking at your phone, you're wondering what you're going to do with your day tomorrow, then sign up for a class to better yourself. Invest in some type of activity. If you're working on your health and you're trying to lose weight, a lot of people have weight loss goals. Go hard on your goals. Start taking some steps forward right now. Get an exercise DVD. Start taking the walks. Walk the dog. Join a softball league. This is the perfect time of the year for getting more active, but there's a lot of things right now that we're working on that we're not working on. We're conceptualizing. Stop conceptualizing. Stop wanting things for yourself and begin to will those things into your life. And that's what I'm here to motivate you to do. I actually saw a show not too long ago. It was an animal show, and they talked about the Arctic wolf, the Arctic gray wolf to be specific. And the information that they gave was that the Arctic wolf is actually capable of traveling at 35 to sometimes 40 miles per hour in 2.5 to 3 feet of snow. Now, if you've ever traveled in the snow, then you would know that even walking in the snow is hard. It's difficult. And it slows you down immensely. So how can an animal travel at 35 miles per hour when most vehicles can't travel at that speed in that same amount in those same conditions? And they can actually do it for up to 80 or 90 miles in one day. You know, and it's real interesting to, information. I love nature shows. I love wildlife and all that. But I thought about it, and it broke down. It was kind of a high-tech show, and it kind of broke down the way that the wolf runs and how the wolf spends so much time above the snow that it doesn't feel the resistance. And so what I took from that was, it's awesome that nature always gives you the tools you need for survival, to optimize yourself in terms of your survival. And so the Arctic wolf, by staying above the resistance, it travels faster at a higher velocity. If you can stay above the resistance in your life, if you can stay above the vices, above those people who aren't pushing you the way you think they should push you, the people who don't appreciate you the way you think you should be appreciated, if you can stay above the resistance, if you can stay above the speculation as to whether or not you can accomplish your goals or not, because that's resistance. When you can identify all the resistance in your life and find a way to stay above it, your velocity will be a whole lot faster. You'll have a momentum that's much greater than what you thought you'd ever have by staying above the resistance. And one thing I like to say about that is, the way God has created animals and the way God has worked in nature, the fact that he's designed each one of his species, each one of us human beings have been designed to accomplish our goals in life, but we don't use our gifts all the time. If you're in some situation of mediocrity because you're working a job that say that's not your gift, it's one of the things that you actually are mediocre at. We all have areas of our life where we're excellent at some things and not as good at others. So if you're pushing yourself in an area to where you don't have a gift, you don't have a passion, then of course you're probably going to be mediocre. Of course you're probably going to be one of the people on the assembly line or one of the people at a job where you're just kind of comfortable. But when you decide to accentuate your gifts and do what God has put you on this earth to do, you will understand that you have special features which allow you to accomplish special things. Now, in every species they have them, whether it's a chameleon, whether it's a giraffe, we all have special designs toward being able to accomplish our goals in life. And if you're not accomplishing your goals in life, it's because you're playing somebody else's game. Play your own game. Do what you're good at doing. And when you begin to give 100%, when you begin to become innovative about your own ideas and push your own ideas with innovation, you'll be surprised. You will have responses. You will have motivation. You'll have a feeling of encouragement. It's going to be so powerful, it's going to affect your entire area. I kid you not. Your children will appreciate this in you. Your wife, your girlfriend will appreciate this in you when you start doing the things that you're designed to do, when you do the extras in life. Because let me tell you something, success is not comfortable. Success is never comfortable. The things that to get to the next level, you are not going to be comfortable. So if your days are comfortable, if every day is just, you get off work and you relax the way you want to relax and you just take all the time you need, you know what? You're probably not, and I can't say for everybody, but you're probably not pushing yourself towards some of your goals. When you start losing a little bit of sleep, when you start waking up a little bit earlier, when you start getting a little bit dirtier, when you start going from one job to another situation, to maybe a class or doing more than one thing, then you can probably hold your head up and say, you know what? I'm putting 100% in right now. I'm working up a sweat. I don't mind working up a sweat today, and I actually am working up a sweat. I'm not trying to, but I don't mind working up a sweat today to give this information to you. If you're going to look at this and say, you know what? He's right. Mediocrity, because I'm doing this, I'm designed to be a basketball player. You might be 6'7". You may be a 5'10" and 260 pounds, ready to be a linebacker. But sitting on the couch won't get you there. Going to practice like everybody else is going to practice is not going to get you there. It's what you do after practice. It's what you do after work. Stop selling lies to other people, telling other people that they can do whatever they want to do. They can be whatever they want to be. Start by being an example. Put your money where your mouth is. Start by being an example. You got kids, you're telling, hey, son, you can do whatever you want to do. Daughter, you can be whatever you want to be. Why can't you be whatever you want to be and become an example? I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you to become an example. Do a little bit better in all the things that are important to you. Start pushing yourself. We can push ourselves together. Because trust me, I'm working on all the same issues that you are. I'm working on being a better father. I want to become a husband, a boyfriend, perfecting those skills. A long-distance father, my children aren't in the same area as me. All those things we have to perfect. We have to get better at. Otherwise, we get comfortable. We'll get relaxed. We'll get complacent.